Happy New Year, hotties. It's Leslie. I'm back. I've missed you, and we are here to dive right on in. We're gonna do my year in review for 2023 and talk about what I'm doing in 2024 to really make this the best hot life I've had yet. If that's for you, stay tuned. I'm excited to chat. Hi, hotties. What's up? Happy New Year. I'm so glad to be with you. Today, we are getting vulnerable. Okay, we are jumping right in. I missed you all. I needed to take a break. I have been consistently putting out a video every Friday since September, and after 17 weeks, your girl just needed to decompress a little bit. But I'm so excited to be back here with you. It's January, it's the new year, and I'm just really excited about it. And today I wanted to talk about kind of like my year in review for 2023. It was a tough year for me. I felt dragged, puff past, like I was just, definitely one of God's strongest. But what I really want to talk about is like the things that I've learned in 2023 and what I'm going to take with me into 2024 to ensure that it really is the best year of my hot life yet. I am always focused on trying to ensure that I'm doing better than I did previously. That doesn't necessarily have to mean like, changing my whole life, new year, new me. But what it just means is like, what did I learn last year? What lessons did I pick up that I need to shift from? What like lessons did I not learn, which kept me in places that I didn't need to be? And I think really in 2023 was the year that I experienced a big shift. If we take it back a little bit, I've been doing like words of the year probably for the past 10 years. I know it's really gotten popular lately, and it's something that I, to be honest, learned kind of like growing up in my church. So, we always kind of gave a theme to the year. It was like, this is what we're going for. This is what we're trying to do. And what I really learned is that we need to be so mindful about the words that we pick, because we don't even think sometimes about how they're going to show up in our lives. And in 2021, I really was like, okay, you know what? I need to take a step back from everything I'm doing. I really need to get clarity about what my life is, what it looks like, what I want it to be. And I essentially told God, like, Lord, I need clarity. So if there's anything in my life that I don't need to be doing anymore, remove it from me. And for those of you that don't know my background, I started digital content creation over 12 years ago. I went from originally doing YouTube on the Issa Rae network, which is now Hooray Media. I was doing a web series there. I ultimately was doing a culinary food show, which was then picked up for television, ran on TV for 3 seasons. It actually still runs. And then that moved me into doing like a pilot with HGTV. I then was doing a project with Food Network. I sold a cartoon to HBO. I have done so many things. And in the midst of that, I was like pulled and stretched, and I loved it, and it was amazing. And then after like 9 years, it just started to feel kind of not really me. And I just felt like, what am I actually doing in this space? Do I want to show up like this? Or, am I just doing this because it's like, if I don't say yes, I may never get another opportunity again. And I know that so many of us have that fear. We're afraid to say no for fear that another yes will never be available to us. And that is not moving in abundance. That's moving in scarcity. That's moving in fear. And I think sometimes, like, I've talked about this before, how we intellectually know things, but we just can't seem to get over the hump to really get it, into our mainframe and really understand it and make it something actionable that we're living. So fast forward, my word of the year in 2021 was clarity. Then my word of 2022 was comfort. And let me tell y'all where I went wrong. I was thinking that as like, I want to be like a swaddled little baby. I just want to be at peace. I want to be comfortable. I want to like be settled in what I'm doing. And instead, I think that word took on a life of its own and became me getting comfortable, right? That comfortability turned into me being sad. It turned into me being like kind of lost. The analogy that I was giving so often to people was like, I feel like I'm lost at sea, but I'm not in tumultuous waters. I'm not like, in a boat that's going crazy and I feel like I'm going to drown. In fact, I feel like I'm just like sitting in a boat and I'm just floating. And I'm waiting on someone to come get me. I'm waiting on someone to like save me. But I'm not figuring out what I have in this raft or in this boat to just like push myself back to shore. And what it really reminds me of is like, if you remember this movie, I'm dating myself, but there's this movie, Richie Rich, and his parents get lost at sea and they're in this raft, but they have all this stuff that they can kind of use. But for the majority of the time where they're lost, they're like, oh, we're just going to wait on somebody to save us. And then eventually they're like, we need to save ourselves. Like, let's figure out this stuff that we have in here and let's make it work. And that's how I felt. And I feel like that carried into 2023. To be so honest with you, I can't even remember the word that I picked for 2023 because I was so down in the depths of like, in a funk. I didn't know what I was doing creatively anymore. I didn't know what I wanted to do creatively, to be honest. I was in this mindset of like, well, people know I've done TV. People know that I write. People know that I've done these things. If they want to work with me, they'll find me. Girl. Like, what? You know what I mean? We live in a world where everybody is constantly putting something out. Output is so much greater than what people are bringing in. And it is not everybody else's job to discover you, right? And I think that that is a difficult thing for us to acknowledge because we want to be discovered. All of us want to feel desired. We want to feel like, you know, they need me. We want to feel needed. We want to feel useful. And those were things that I did not feel, you know, throughout last year. I just felt so like, I don't know what I'm doing. People would be like, let's see, so what are the projects you've got going on now? And I'd be like, nothing. I'm watching TV. Like, what? That is so crazy. Y'all, it was rough. It was like, I did not feel my best. I did not feel worthy of success. I did not feel, you know, like that was something that I could get or experience. And I think that I was just being really stretched and grown. And I would say probably around like June, the middle of the year last year, I kind of just got up one day and I was like, I'm wilding. Like, I have to get me together. And so that is what I'm going to lead into now, or like the things that happened within the last 6 months, 7 months of 2023 that really grew me and let me know that now in this year, I'm ready to receive. So the first thing that came into my life in 2023 was the podcast To Be Magnetic. And it's called Expanded. When I tell y'all, I'll be telling everybody about this podcast. I'm like, you should listen to Expanded. I was listening to a podcast. And I have always been an active learner. I'm a person that will seek out knowledge, be it through books, whether it's through a documentary, if it's through a podcast, I'm going to seek it out. And so I truly, genuinely feel like God brought this podcast into my life. Universe, the God, all of the things worked in accordance for my good to bring this to me. Because when I tell you it has like unlocked something within me, it's shown me how like we don't manifest our best lives or receive the things that we're desiring from God in the universe through like just vision boards and just positive thinking and just affirmations, because you can be trying to call all these different things into your life. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't feel worthy of that, or you don't feel like it really fits you, then it's not going to come, right? Because now you're out of alignment. You may be desiring things that you see other people have. How many of us, you know, are looking at the internet all day and we're like, you know, I want to be like this mogul. I'm trying to be Issa. I'm trying to be Lena. I'm trying to be Ava. I'm trying to be all these different people. And you are desiring somebody else's dream. Like, it's not to say that you don't want success or you don't want to be the best at what you're doing, but you need to figure out how that looks for you. It does challenge your self-worth, because then when you start to see the things that you're desiring and the things that you want to manifest not coming to you, you start thinking like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough, you know what I mean, to have this, or there's something going on. When truthfully, it's like, did you even think you were worth receiving that thing in the first place? And so what I've had to learn is I have to work on me. We have to work on us before we try to bring and draw in more things to us, right? Because some of the things that you're desiring, some of the things that you're trying to manifest, they don't sit with the person that you are right now. You cannot draw them into your life because who you are is not ready for that next thing. And so listening to this podcast on a consistent basis, I'm talking like every single time I get in the car, I'm turning on an episode. I'm not turning on any music. I'm not turning on anything but this podcast. And I'm listening to like how I need to level up on my self-worth, how I need to really look at the things that I've gone through like as a kid, how I need to really look at the experiences that I've had and be thankful to myself for getting me through those things. Like, it has truly made me a more self-aware person. Now, To Be Magnetic is actually like a program that you can do. It's a mindset shift. You have all these like what they call DIs or deep imaginings, where you sit and you kind of do these meditations to help you really unearth and uncover some of the things that are deep inside of your subconscious and in your mind. Now, I will be transparent in saying that I have not invested in the actual program. Because I felt like, let me be consistent with just listening to whatever is like the free thing at the moment and see what I can glean from that before I make that investment to go even further. And I'm going to be quite frank with you. That has been so pivotal for me. I feel like a new person. I feel like I've like shed, this layer of skin off of me, this like heaviness, this sadness that was on me, that didn't belong to me. Right? I was carrying something and carrying a weight, carrying a fear, carrying a doubt in me that was telling me like, listen, you are not worthy of these things that you're desiring. All of this list that you have, all this stuff that you want, girl, you just saying it, but do you really think you're going to get it? And I was constantly questioning how. How am I going to get that thing that I want? How am I going to become, a best-selling author? How am I going to sell a script to my next feature? How am I going to write, a teenage like drama that I want to write? Because who's going to watch it? Then that means I have to get in front of people. That means I'm going to have to talk to people. That means somebody's going to judge me. Y'all, there is no possible way that you can get to the thing that you desire if you don't even believe it within yourself. And so that is something that really helped me. If you are looking to kind of like dive into unearthing you, getting to your best self, really working on your self-worth, I would say listen to this podcast. Okay, so the second thing that really kind of changed my life in 23 was learning that I've been a person trying to achieve since I was in the second grade. Like, I was 8 years old when I started my first business. And while I've used that as like, something to be proud of and a pride point, it's like, yeah, that's dope. But girl, why was that your focus? You know what I mean? Like, why were you so worried about trying to make $1 at 8? When I was doing talk therapy, one of the things that my therapist would always say to me is, you've had to be an adult for a really long time. And in that, I've had a lot of goals. I have become a super goal-oriented person. Hear me when I say, there is nothing wrong with being driven. There is nothing wrong with being somebody that has aspirations. But at some point, you have to stop inundating yourself with goals. It can't be that every single thing in your life is about achieving. Like, my God, take a breath. I was constantly trying to achieve something. And what I learned in 2023 was I need to be more focused with alignment rather than achievement. Meaning, I need to do the things that are for me, instead of trying to achieve so much that I'm willing to do whatever it has to be done, whether it's something that other people are doing in order to achieve this supposed success that I'm trying to go after. If I learned anything in 23, it's like, stop shrouding yourself in the cloak of, I'm goal-oriented, I'm an achiever, I'm going to do this, because it only leaves you feeling empty when you're not focused on the things that work for you and the things that you should be doing. I am so proud of myself for being able to say, like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, and I'm trusting that in leaving behind all those like supposed goals that I had, that I'm going to become aligned to what my purpose is. And I'm going to experience the success that I desire, but in the way that it's meant for me. That is something that I definitely learned in 2023. So one of the final things I learned in 2023 was to be honest with myself to a fault, right? I think so many of us think that we are self-aware. We are quick to be like, oh, I know that's me, girl. I know I could be toxic. Or like, girl, I know I could be a little messy. Or I know I'm a procrastinator. And we think that that's self-awareness. And the truth of the matter is that it is, but only to a certain extent, right? So you're being honest with yourself and saying like, I acknowledge these are the things that are happening with me and how they affect my life. But where the honesty is not continuing is the why. Like, why are you procrastinating? Are you procrastinating because you're fearful, because you don't think that you'll be, successful, because you are, afraid of just putting the thing out there, so you wait until the absolute last minute that you have to do something? Are you quote unquote toxic because you don't believe that you're worthy of appropriate true love? Do you think that you're toxic because that's the only way that you've experienced people loving on you? Are you somebody that likes a little bit of mess because maybe you grew up in a chaotic space and so you really don't even know how to operate not in chaos? Like, that is when you have to be honest to a fault, right? That is when you have to say, damn, okay, I thought I was self-aware. I thought I knew me, but maybe I need to dig a little deeper. And I think that a lot of us are afraid to do that. And one of the things that I really did in 2023 was get honest with myself. I had to just be like, why are you being like this? Right? Like, why are you sitting on your laurels? Why do you think that that nobody cares about your work? Why do you think that the things that you've accomplished thus far are only because, somebody had compassion for you, or because somebody was like, oh, let me give her a little chance? I don't care how many chances that people will give you. If you don't show up when the chance is given, you won't get another one. And so rather than me believing my value and my worth in the work that I've done and the things that I've done, I'm so busy giving credit to other people for letting me do something. And I was like, why do I feel like that? And I can tell you, it's because I spent my whole life trying to make sure that, I was a perfect little kid so that I could get love. You know what I mean? Like, from a dad who decided like he had better things to do. That's harsh, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like, and so at some point we have to say, how long are we going to allow these wounds to dictate our path? And I was like, I can't do it. Right? I'm going to be 39 in a month. I'm not taking that with me to 40. I'm not. Like, I'm not bringing that with me. And so that was me having to be like, what else do I need to get honest about? You want to know why I wasn't doing much in 2023? Because of me. It wasn't anybody else. It wasn't because I'm not good at my job. It wasn't because I'm not talented. It's not because I'm not educated. It's not because I'm not smart. It's because I didn't think I was worth going out there and pitching myself to people, or calling somebody and be like, hey, I have a script. Hey, read this. Hey, I've got this going on. That's why. That's it. So then I was out here chasing things. Like, if you subscribe to my newsletter, I spent the whole year like, I'm about to go get me a job. Girl, it took a friend of mine. I had a meeting with him at the end of last year. He told me, he said, you want a corporate job because you want a check. And that's not where your check is going to come from. That's not where your success is going to come from. Because then what happens when you want to create, but you're in that corporate job and then you can't? And then in 6 months to a year, you're going to be like, okay, I got to go. And then the company is going to be looking for somebody else. So they know that. Like, I had, submitted applications, talked to folks, and I felt like it's me. I'm not deserving of a job. I can't do it. Maybe I don't have the skill to do that. But the truth of the matter is that's not my path. And rather than continuing to tell myself that like, oh, I'm not good enough because I haven't worked a traditional job, what I need to be saying is, damn hoe, or excuse me. Like, what I need to be saying is, girl, you have made a career off of relationship building, off of talent, off of, being able to have foresight into what people think is interesting, and being a trendsetter, and being able to like tap into the hearts of people so that they want to pay attention to what you're saying. That is not little stuff. And I needed to get honest with me about that. The reason that maybe I haven't experienced the success I'm longing for is because I haven't felt like I was worthy of it. I haven't even felt like I was meant to be in those spaces. Girl, I had to pull my collar, get get your shit together, get yourself together. That's not it. And so be honest with yourself. This year, we're being honest. We're going to be truthful about who we are. We're going to be truthful about why we are. And you are going to blossom in that. Sometimes we are so afraid that telling the whole truth is going to hurt, right? So much that we can't come back from that. We all know the same. And there is power in this and honesty in this. The truth will set you free. So this is how I'm going to make my year the best hot life it can be in 2024. Number one, I'm getting back to planning the way that I like to plan. I am a planner girly, okay? Like, I love a planner. Back to talking about me being 8 years old and always being achievement mind, focused and having this like goal-oriented mindset. I have been using a planner since I was in elementary school, okay? The one they gave me started out, I was always writing, I'm color coding, I'm doing this. That took me into high school when I was like constantly writing every single thing down. I remember one of my classmates was like, girl, that's like the most organized planner I've ever seen in my life. What? Like, what? How are you? And I'm like, this is how I function. And the past couple years, it's like I kind of bought a whatever planner and I was just using it. And I will always use it. But I'm like, no, I need to build my planners, make them the way that I need to make them. And that allows me to see my vision laid out. And I'm really able to like go forth and do what I need to do. Because that for me is the foundation of how I make success happen. That's how I get the work done, because I schedule things, I write them down, I make it happen. And so, rule number one, we are back to building and using the planners that I want to use. Number two way that I'm going to make 2024 the best of the hot life, I'm going to get to work. Okay? The one thing that I grew up hearing all of the time, and when you grow up, if you're somebody that grew up like in a faith-based, lifestyle, you grew up in church, I grew up on a pew, there's so many things that we hear that we're like, oh, that was at church, that was at church. But there are so many biblical principles that are applicable to our lives that I think sometimes we forget. And this is the one that I'm about to like slap on to 2024. Faith without works is dead. Because the truth of the matter is, you cannot believe for something, right? And be asking God, asking the universe, putting out there what you want, and then not do anything to get it. What? Where do you operate? Where else in your life do you live that you go to work and you're like, I want to get paid, but I don't want to do nothing. I don't really want to exercise. I just want to look good. What? So you can have the faith for something. You could be believing you like, I'm going to manifest this. I'm going to make a vision board. I'm going to make a bingo card. I'm going to make a digital. Girl, I don't care if you work Canva to the bone. If you don't work, nothing's going to happen. For me, I'm doing the work this year. I already wrote one novel. It's out on submission. I'm waiting for it. Fine. I will now be finishing the second one. Do you understand that I have 4 script ideas in my head that I haven't written because all I've been focused on is what if the format is not right? If you don't write that script, who cares? We get to the point, right? There are ideas and thoughts and things that God has put into your mind, and you have not done them because you're so worried about it being wrong that now it's just stuck. And then what's going to happen is you're going to look out and somebody else has done it. And you're going to be like, dang, they took my idea. No, they didn't. They worked. God gave it to you and you didn't do nothing. So you know who was like, okay, I'm going to deposit that in a worker. Because right now it's deposited in somebody that's just sitting. When you see your idea come to fruition in another space through somebody else, it's because God deposited in you and you didn't do anything with it. You didn't work it. So he said, I got to take it into a worker. I'm not going to allow any more of my ideas or my thought processes to just be deposited in me and then I don't do anything. So what am I doing in 2024 to make it happen? I'm getting to work. When I get to work, things show up. You can't want opportunity and then you're not ready for it. Number 3, the way I'm making this my best life yet, I'm chilling. In the sense of I'm not chasing. I'm going to plan, I'm going to work, and then it's going to come to me. But I'm not going out there trying to chase it down and toil and like, gimme, gimme, gimme. It's got to be mine. No. Because if you plan and then you work, what's for you is going to come to you. Because now it has a proper landing space. If you so busy chasing and running and trying to get something else, there's no place for your thing to land for you. Because you're not making it available. There's no landing space. So I'm not going to be chasing anything. God knows my desires. I have expressed it to the universe, and all things work for what? Not for my bad, not for my might be, for my good. And that is the principle that I'm using for my life and for my year. All things work together for my good. So however it's going to work out, it's going to be good for me. Because that's what it is. Like, point blank and period. So I am going to make this year mine because I'm planning, I'm working, and then I'm going to receive it. And that's it. So when we think about words for the year, this year in 2024, my word is breakthrough. I'm breaking through the mess. I'm breaking through the muck. I'm breaking through of all the things that I have allowed to hold me back. And I'm getting what is mine. Okay, hotties, that's what I've got. So we figured out what 2023 looked like for us. We sifted through the things we needed to get through. I think that I finally passed the test. So, Lord, you could take me off the strong list. I'm on the ready list, okay? So we worked through 2023. In 2024, we're planning, we're working, and we're receiving. Just like that, in that order. If you found something in this video interesting, thought-provoking, something that you love, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and share with somebody so that we can get more hotties in the community. As always, you can find me everywhere on the internet at The Hot Mommy, and I can't wait to see you next week. Talk to you later. Bye.